Hi, I'm Yasmin, and welcome to Easy English Space. Today we're talking about something almost everyone deals with but doesn't really master. Stress and trying to organize your day without feeling like your brain has too many tabs open at the same time. My guest today is Jason. What's up?
What's up? Honestly, I feel like I'm in a long-term relationship with my to-do list, and it's getting a bit complicated. I start every morning with good intentions, like I'm about to become the most organized person alive, and then by midday, I'm just negotiating with myself about whether replying to emails counts as real productivity or just emotional effort.
That is way too accurate. I also start my day like I've got my life together. I'm like, today I will be focused, disciplined, structured. And then 5 minutes later, I'm watching something completely unrelated while telling myself it's actually research or a short break, even though we both know it's not short.
Exactly. And the funny part is, I do try to be organized. I write plans, I make lists, I even feel a small moment of pride looking at them. But then the day starts and my plan just kind of exists without me. It's like I created a very optimistic version of myself in writing, and real-life me didn't get the memo.
I love that. Optimistic version of myself in writing. That's exactly what it feels like. And then reality shows up and says, cute plan, and just walks right over it. But tell me, do you feel your stress comes more from having too many things to do or from not knowing where to start?
Honestly, both at the same time. I have enough tasks to feel overwhelmed, but also not enough clarity to know what actually deserves attention first. So I just stand there mentally like I'm in a restaurant with too many options, and suddenly I don't want anything anymore because the decision itself is stressful.
That is such a good comparison. I do the same thing, except instead of a restaurant, it's my phone. I open it thinking I'll be productive, and suddenly I'm scrolling through responsibilities like they're entertainment, which is a very confusing way to live when you say it out loud.
Yes, and then I try to fix it by making a perfect schedule. I sit down, I plan everything in detail, and it looks amazing on paper. I feel very in control for about 10 minutes. Then real life happens and completely ignores my schedule like it's just a polite suggestion.
My schedule also gets ignored like it's background noise. My day basically wakes up, looks at my plan, and decides it has other priorities, and I just follow along like I don't have authority over my own time.
And every night I still tell myself tomorrow will be different, which is a very hopeful sentence I've repeated for years now, and I'm still waiting for the version of tomorrow where everything magically clicks.
That sentence is like a free subscription nobody canceled. It just keeps renewing automatically. But let me ask you, do you ever actually manage to organize your day successfully, even slightly?
Sometimes, yes, and I feel like I've unlocked a secret version of myself. Like, wow, so this is what calm, organized people feel like. But it never lasts long because I either overplan or underestimate how long simple things take. Even something small like replying to a message somehow turns into a full mental process with drafts, revisions, and emotional hesitation.
Here we go. That is so real. I've definitely opened a message, thought I'll reply in a second, and then suddenly it becomes a whole project. I write it in my head, rewrite it, overthink it, and by the time I'm ready to send it, I've already moved on to something else and forgotten the original message existed.
Exactly, and all of that builds stress slowly. Not from one big problem, but from lots of small things stacking up until it feels like everything is slightly urgent at the same time.
Yes, like a quiet pile of I'll deal with it later, turning into a very loud problem at night. Usually around 2 a.m. when your brain suddenly decides it's time to review your entire life.
That is the official stress meeting time, 2 a.m. During the day, everything feels manageable, but at night, my brain turns into a very serious manager, asking why I didn't complete tasks I didn't even think about earlier.
So if you had to design a more realistic way to handle your day, not perfect, just something you could actually follow, what would it look like?
I think it would be much simpler. Fewer tasks, more flexibility, and less pressure to be productive all the time. I've realized I've been trying to schedule myself like a machine. But I'm not a machine. I'm more like a phone that works fine but needs charging breaks and sometimes just refuses to open certain apps.
That is actually a very healthy way to look at it. A lot of stress comes from treating ourselves like we should function at full capacity all the time, when in reality, energy changes during the day. You can have hours available, but if your energy is low, nothing really works properly anyway.
And I think that's the real problem. Not time, but energy. And also this constant feeling that I should always be doing more, even when I'm already tired.
That should is very heavy. It turns rest into guilt and makes normal human pauses feel like mistakes.
Yes, and that's the part I want to change. I don't want my day to feel like a competition I'm constantly losing.
That's a good goal. Maybe the idea isn't to control everything, but just to make the day feel more manageable and less chaotic. And if things don't go perfectly, we can just call it flexible planning.
I like that. Manageable sounds realistic. I can work with manageable.
So instead of trying to build a perfect system, here are a few simple ideas that can actually make life feel easier and more manageable.
That sounds much better than I completely lost control of my life again.
First, try limiting your day to just 2 or 3 main tasks instead of a long, overwhelming list, because when everything is important, nothing really feels achievable. Second, give your day structure, but not pressure, like time blocks instead of strict schedules, so you know what direction you're going in without feeling tracked by exact timing. And third, leave space for rest without guilt, because rest isn't something you earn after finishing everything. It's something that helps you actually finish things in the first place. There's a quote by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman philosopher, that says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." And I think that's a good reminder that we can't control everything that happens in a day, but we can control how we respond and how gently we treat ourselves when things don't go perfectly. Another quote from Seneca says, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Not as pressure, but as a reminder to focus on what actually matters, instead of trying to do everything at once and ending up mentally exhausted. It's not about becoming perfectly organized, it's about becoming calmly consistent. Someone who can adjust without feeling like everything is falling apart. So if you're listening and your day feels messy or stressful, maybe start small. Reduce the pressure, simplify your plan, and focus on a few meaningful things instead of everything at once. Because at the end of the day, even a messy day can still be a meaningful one.
I actually like this way of thinking a lot more. It feels more realistic, like I don't have to become a completely different person overnight. I just need to adjust how I move through the day and stop expecting perfection from myself all the time.
Before we go, remember this. Your life does not need to look perfectly organized to still be meaningful, productive, or healthy. Sometimes the biggest change comes from lowering the pressure, not increasing it. And in our next episode, we're going to talk about a book that completely changes the way many people think about time, goals, and productivity. The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. What makes this book interesting is that it challenges the idea of planning your life around a full year. Instead, it teaches you how to focus on shorter, more intentional 12-week periods, which can make your goals feel more urgent, realistic, and achievable. It's not really about doing more things, it's about doing the right things with more clarity and focus. So if you've ever felt stuck in endless planning, overwhelmed by procrastination, I think you're really going to enjoy that conversation. This was Easy English Space. I'm Yasmin, and I'll see you in the next episode.